Hope everyone is good. Can y'all can hear me, right? Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Just to be sure. And just a reminder, if my audio starts acting up, being funny during the live, please do tell me. Hang on a sec, let me just put my music down. I hope you're all enjoying the week and enjoying all of the glorious pictures that we are getting of Harry and Meghan down under. So much is coming through at such a speed that honestly, I'm so overwhelmed. I've honestly just not done a podcast the last 2 days because I'm just so overwhelmed. In a good way, of course. But nonetheless overwhelmed. And it's just been incredible. We are being fed. This is in the chat. Hey Wendy, hey Heather, hey Elaine, hey. Hey Church Nelly. Hey Jane Kumawafa. Let's give people time to just slowly filter in. Hey NoVD, because today's going to be a long podcast. There's a lot to cover. So let's give people a little bit more time to filter in, shall we? We're going to enjoy the pictures coming out. We are going to have some discussions. We are going to laugh at the haters and trolls who are mad that they've been locked out. Oh, we're going to get into it today, honey. We're going to get into it today. Because there's a hell of a lot to say. Honestly, Harry and Meghan they look so good. I mean, they look good all the time, but looking good isn't just what you look like on the outside. Because anyone can dress up and put some makeup on and look fancy, but it's the way they radiate from the inside. Honestly, you can see that they're radiating from the inside. And that's what just makes, I think, this tour so special. They are really radiating from the inside. All right. First things first. Well, let's start with how it all started. Let's start with how it all started, because Harry and Meghan touched down in a Qantas flight. They flied commercial, and they followed the flight, and they showed on TV, on Sunrise, on Melbourne Live, Harry and Meghan touching down. They even interviewed people who were on the flight. Whenever have you seen this? For any royal tour in recent times. Mind you, the last major royal tour for senior royals was Kate and William. But you sure as hell didn't see this. They had live footage of Harry and Meghan, well, their flight touching down. I've even seen the BBC are covering this as well. Now, mind you, the BBC just gutted. They did send a reporter out there, by the way. But they just gutted their coverage team of the royals in the UK. Because they're just not profitable anymore. And here we have live footage of Harry and Meghan touching down in the Qantas Airlines. Hilarious. Now, the first major stop was to a hospital where they visited some kids. There was a young lady there. She spoke about how she was in remission for her treatment, but it just really made her day to see Harry and Meghan. And, just seeing how happy the kids were, how happy their parents were. I think there's a picture. Oh, do I not have it? Oh, no, I think it's here. Oh, yeah, this one. This is the winning picture for me, right here, of the whole tour. This right here is the winning picture. By the way, Meghan has been wearing Aussie designers, both high-end designers and also local designers. There was two women who own a jewelry line, and they were just beaming because Meghan was wearing their earrings. I believe those are the earrings that she's wearing here. And so again, helping local businesses, helping women-owned businesses. And just look, I mean, the crowds, you can't really see them in these pictures, but the crowds have been coming out. And you can't fake crowds. You can fake bots, but you can't fake crowds. And, they literally did events on the same day that they arrived. They flew across an international date line, east to west. Probably jet lagged to hell and back. But here they are, making most of their time and making sure to do good work. Imagine. The other royals could never. Listen, the British press have been convulsing. They are screaming, they're crying and throwing up. And they're also doing their best to dictate the conversation around Harry and Meghan and this trip. It's like they truly believe that they own Harry and Meghan. The relationship that the tabloids and the UK media have with the royals, with celebrities in general, is this ridiculous sense of ownership. You had the Telegraph putting out a shady ass story just before Harry and Meghan touched down. They've really been trying to focus. This is what they do. They find one focus that they know that the trolls and the idiots who read stuff like the Daily Mail and the Sun will latch onto. So they've really been latching on to security costs. They've been latching on to Harry and Meghan getting paid. They're fuming. I'm actually going to read something out later on in the podcast, but somebody actually wrote about, and again, I don't really think this personally matters because here Harry and Meghan are doing good work and doing work that pays their bills without the British taxpayer money. But somebody actually wrote about there is a set budget for public figures and keeping public figures safe. So they're trying to paint the so-called security cost thing as like, Australian government is spending extra, but there's already actually an inserted budget for things like this. For when they have high profile figures coming and they may need extra security and stuff like that. Also, while all this was going on, Meghan, it was revealed, has invested in an AI fashion discovery app called One Off. Now, back in March of 2025, Meghan launched her Shop My page. And I thought this was absolutely brilliant because for so long, everybody except for Meghan has profited, especially off of her fashion. Anything she touches turns to gold and sells out. So all of the websites that do like the affiliate marketing get a slice of the pie, and Meghan has not been getting a slice of the pie despite the fact that she's so influential. So she joined Shop My. The pocket watchers had a meltdown at the thought of Meghan profiting from people buying her recommendations, while Sussex fans immediately made all of Meghan's recommendations sell out. Hardy ha ha ha. But then, after several months, she shut it down. She shut down the shop my, and nobody really knew why. Some people were saying she tried it out and didn't really like keeping up with it. Obviously, it wouldn't be her keeping up with it, it would be somebody on her team. Well, as it turns out, she obviously does like, giving people recommendations, and she should be able to profit from people, buying her ex, the way that the tabloids and other people do. But it was just the hassle of manually having to add things to the Shop My page. And she appears to have found a different platform for it. And she also wanted to come on as an investor. So behold, Meghan has invested in One-Off. And this is her account. Several other high-profile celebrities are also on this platform. And it's AI powered. So the AI will look at the outfit, scan everything that she's wearing, and then just automatically add it to the page. So all of her stuff that she's worn on the Australian tour is already up there. I think this is pretty genius. Pretty ethical, good use of AI. This is the stuff that we want AI to be doing. Not the nonsense and cruelty and BS that we be seeing. So I think this is brilliant because it can identify what she's wearing in real time. And she's a participant and investor. So the platform, which simplifies the shopping experience by providing personalized recommendations based on user preferences, allows Meghan to curate edits of her outfits, break down each piece, and give users direct access to shop her wardrobe in real time. A feature already live with looks from the couple's first few stops in Australia. So you can look at current looks and also past favorites from high-profile events. And more casual snapshots from her Montecito home. And you get a full breakdown, as you can see, of each piece. The price and where to buy it. And I can imagine this has been cooking for months. So maybe it could be that, yes, this is why she closed down the Shop My, or the Shop My page actually inspired her to look for another company which functioned in a similar way but more efficient. And I love that she's an investor. And she's putting One-Off on the map. One-Off does seem a lot more curated in terms of the influencers and celebrities on the platform. So lovely. Do we have a new member? Let's see what we have going on here. Oh, Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you to Simone Black for the super chat. Thank you so much. You said, would love to be a fly on the wall in those palaces. Australia and the world loves Harry and Meghan. Yes, indeed. I would love to be a fly in the wall. Somebody mentioned in the comment section, Robert Jobson. Listen, I'm going to get to him. And we're going to have a good laugh about Robert Jobson. Sandra D2846. Thank you so much for becoming a new member, Sandra. You are so much appreciated. Just a reminder, folks, you can become a new member also through Buy Me a Coffee. But thank you so much to all I think in total across Buy Me a Coffee and YouTube, I think I've got maybe 250 members. I have to double check. I haven't checked in a while. But I appreciate you all so much. I need to do like a proper maybe like monthly shout outs. Thank you all so much to the members. Oh, thank you Church Nelly for posting the Buy Me a Coffee. Much appreciated. Okay, so that's that. Let's have a look at some of the other pictures from from the tour. I mean, they've been doing numerous different appearances. Harry. Oh, I mean, look at this. Listen, when Meghan got out the car and the wind blew in her hair, legs for days. Lovely. Also, Harry was accompanied by Lieutenant Colonel Joseph West, and he visited the Australian War Memorial. We've got some pictures here. He also spoke about fatherhood and how we can upgrade parenting and, you know, fatherhood for the for modern times. You know, Harry's spoken and he's shown very much how much of a hands-on father that he is. Girl dad. And he's spoken about, you know, mental health, men's mental health, and how that links to, you know, parenting. And just because you went through something, you know, just because your parents went through something doesn't mean that you have to reinforce that generational trauma. So he had a whole event where he spoke about that. He met with one of these men's groups encouraging positive masculinity and talking about mental health, which I think is very much needed. And also, let me just have a look at my notes. Sorry, there's so many things. So many things. Let me have a... Nope, that was not that. Hang on a sec, folks. Oh, here we go. So he also met with Indigenous veterans to hear about their experiences in service. He also, you know, laid flowers at the Australian War Memorial in Canberra, and he also attended an Indigenous smoking ceremony. And then earlier in the day, yeah, he also made the solo visit to Movember and the Western Bulldogs headquarters in Melbourne. And he met personnel from the men's health charity at Mission Whitton Oval. So there's been a lot on this tour of highlighting organizations and causes as per usual, but still very much linked to Harry and Meghan's work and advocacy. Meghan also went to a women's shelter and she was helping give out the food. There was a very sweet moment where there was one lady, she was like, "Oh my God, you're so pretty and you have no wrinkles." And also when Harry went to the Western Bulldogs headquarters in Melbourne, where he met with the personnel from the men's health charity, he was presented with two children's jerseys that had Archie and Lilibet's names on them. And he took part in a light introduction to Australian rules football with some well-known players there, and he spoke about fatherhood, reflecting on his own experiences and the importance of open conversations around parenting and men's mental health, and encouraged fathers and soon-to-be fathers to open up about their emotional challenges, and praising Movember's work. Movember has been around for a while, actually. I think they're probably one of the biggest organizations kind of looking at men's mental health and encouraging positive masculinity, which is very much needed. So yeah, that was Harry's amazing stuff. Now Meghan popped up on MasterChef. This one was a surprise. She will I don't think the episode is actually aired yet, but she'll make a special guest appearance on MasterChef Australia. And now back in 2016, she was on an ABC, you know, Food Network show. And so Meghan isn't new to this, true to this, obviously, with the With Love Meghan show as well. This is an extension of that and her love of cooking. I think that was the Food Network cooking competition, Chopped Junior in 2016 on the Food Network that she appeared on. And here she is on MasterChef. I'm not going to play the video because of copyright, but if you go and watch it, the lady to Meghan's right in the soft pink, she was like, when she was reading out, introducing Meghan, She was just so delighted. Like, she was beaming. And MasterChef Australia is renowned for creating culinary legends, and today, a passionate foodie with global influence graced the kitchen. So she will appear alongside a roster of judges, comprised of Fo Ling Yao, Sophia Levin, and Jean-Christophe Novelli for the show's 18th season. Amazing. So yeah, that hasn't aired yet, but very much looking forward to it. It's amazing they managed to actually keep that under wraps. But listen, everybody else knows the value of having Harry and Meghan on board, while other people are throwing a goddamn tantrum. Other things that Harry and Meghan did, I don't actually think I even have pictures of this one because there's so many pictures floating around. But Harry and Meghan also attended a gathering in Melbourne as part of the InterEdge Psychosocial Safety Summit. And it focused on the vital intersection of workplace culture and mental health. And, you know, talking to leaders to equip them with practical tools to create psychologically safe environments and addressing a national rise of burnout and psychological injury. Oof. Very important topic, y'all. Late stage capitalism is biting. Very important topic. So they were also photographed with Michael Whipfley, and he is the founder of 36 Months Initiative, which is a campaign specifically advocating for raising the minimum wage. Raising the minimum age, for social media access from 13 to 16. I am so on board with that. So on board with that. So that teenagers can have more years of development before, you know, facing the complexities of all these algorithms throwing them rubbish and nonsense. So an incredible initiative. You know, there's pros and cons to social media, but we need to deal with the cons. What other see if I've got any more pictures in the bank before we get on to the nitty-grittier stuff. Okay, nah, I think let's get on to the nitty-gritty. Let's get on to what? First of all, before we get on to nitty-gritty, let's get to your comments, because they're coming in thick and fast. And then we'll get on to I've got a lot of sound clips to play. Thank you everyone. If you're just streaming in, hit that thumbs up button, please. Wait, the last few days Meghan flew to Australia, did several events. Meghan had time to film an episode of a TV show. Damn. So when do they sleep exactly? They even managed to film a whole TV episode. Imagine. Nice to see you, Rahini. They are on a roll. I might have you come up and talk later, Rahini, actually. Nice to see you here. Louise, what's this? She said, someone in the bus said Australia needs to offer journalists and media an expert crash course for them so they can better report about Harry and Meghan. Indeed, the reporting on Harry and Meghan has been great from the Australian side. The usual Rupert Murdoch suspects doing their usual nonsense, but otherwise, the reporting has been fair, very excited, you know, to have them there. It's only the UK tabloids having a whole meltdown. Yeah, I love the mini dress, the tights as well. Great look. Okay, let's get on to some commentary, because baby, let's start with the UK media meltdown. Let's have a listen to this. I think these are the screenshots for this. You even had, who is it? Was it Jeremy Vine talking about, can we have Harry and Meghan back for a discount since they're getting paid now? The audacity.
Now talking about the royals, and that's how we end. Large crowds have welcomed the Duke and Duchess of Sussex at the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne, the first stop on their visit to Australia. Well, Harry and Meghan will meet several charities on their privately funded tour before taking part in commercial engagements. So, Adam, what exactly does that mean, a commercial engagement?
Well, it means basically they're pay-per-view, if you want to put it that way. Harry is giving a speech, and people are going.
You know, I find it so interesting. He laughs and says, "Oh, Harry and Meghan are pay-per-view," as if what, sponging off the British taxpayer is better than making your own private wealth. Please.
Buy their tickets for that, and there's also an opportunity. I think it's a wellness day with Meghan, where she, I think, was charging over £1,000 for people to come and spend that day, well, for women to spend that day with her. So they are trying to make some money out of this, but they were a popular couple when they did a tour in Australia shortly after their marriage, and they are, you use the word commercial, they're certainly looking into commercial opportunities. In fact, there's one day when Meghan hasn't got any public engagements, and it's thought that she will be exploring business opportunities.
Very interesting. It makes the front page of the Times, doesn't it? Which looks, like they're very popular still. You said they were, but it looks like they still have a lot of people there. The Mail, in its wisdom, has actually counted out the cost of Meghan's outfit, and I'm presuming these are US.
Is it one outfit also?
This outfit, that they say the Duchess's outfit for the first day of her tour was worth about $52,000.
A cost, I'm not always worth it.
Adam. I mean, no outfit's going to be worth $52,000.
I find it so interesting that they're, on one hand, being bitter about Harry and Meghan making their own wealth, but then also being snooty about how much her outfit costs. Secondly, I mean, her watch, I think she's wearing the Tank. The jewelry alone is probably what's making up most of that money. But you can hear the snootiness, the jealousy, and I want you to understand that when they're talking like this, okay, I want you to understand the mentality they're trying to push on the public and the listener. This isn't just about criticizing Harry and Meghan. It's also about creating a mindset in the listener, the mindset of the British viewing public, that it is somehow dirty to aspire to nice things. Your taxpayer money can fund one wealthy family to live well beyond their means in multiple castles. But the idea of someone privately earning wealth and enjoying material things, that is somehow negative. Now, I want you to think about, if the entire culture is telling you that, what does it do for the mindset of the people in that culture when it comes to ambition or aspiring for more? It then creates this tall poppy syndrome culture where people actually knock each other down, while a small select group of people get to enjoy stupid amounts of wealth and privilege. So please remember, when you hear these things, it's not just about criticizing Harry and Meghan and because they're bitter that they don't get to control Harry and Meghan. It's also a control tactic for controlling other people, the listening public here.
It's going to be worth $52,000. Let's face it, right? I mean, I'm watering some of
this is what happens when you're no longer quite a member of the royal family. You've got to make your own money.
Well, this is the thing. It's a far cry from the official state visits that they did as working royals, where it would all be about visiting charities and giving speeches on behalf of the British state. And, to be fair to them, they've retired from that. Well, now they've taken a step back. I think the issue with them is they sort of want to have their cake and eat it, don't they? So they want to be private, they want to be left alone by the press, but then they do also love the media attention in some ways, and it's kind of hard just to take the good bits out.
Do the media also not like the clicks and the views that Harry and Meghan bring? Do the media not also like the clicks and the views that Harry and Meghan bring, which is the reason why they cover them? Yes or yes? Because these people act like Harry and Meghan forced them to cover them. They're benefiting from covering Harry and Meghan as well. So I don't know why they're acting so brand new and acting so snotty, like they don't actually want to cover Harry and Meghan. And once again, because we clearly still haven't learned the definition of privacy. All citizens, including public-facing people, are entitled to privacy. Harry and Meghan, when they are out, are working. And they are trying to bring attention to their work. It doesn't mean you're entitled to what's happening in their private life. I mean, the idiot who's talking right now, she is a public-facing person. Because she came on this show and was talking crap, does that mean that we get an invite into her house? No, we don't.
Out of it without dropping the bad and the ugly, and I sort of feel that that's what they want to do. I think if they genuinely wanted to be outside of the public eye, they wouldn't be quite so showy as this.
No, I'm just going to update myself. $52,000 includes, you're looking at me, includes a watch, which was thought to have belonged to the late Princess Diana, which sells for $48,000 new, though Meghan's would likely be priceless. So I'm going to uprate my figure of $50,000 if indeed.
Yeah, okay, that makes a bit more. Yeah, I was like
$12.50. But she might be being sponsored, of course, the designer.
Absolutely, in the influencer world that they now potentially inhabit. But we'll watch that for the next 4 days, shall we? Why not? But we come back with the breaking news of the hour, talking about the royals, and that's how we end.
I want you to just take note of what she just said at the end there. The influencer world which they now inhabit, right? Mind you, that world now has more pulling power than being a royal. Because now you've got the BBC shutting down its whole royal coverage team. So yeah, the average influencer actually has more influence at this point than a senior royal, than Kate and William. And this is what is really annoying them. They can sit here and be as snotty as they want. They don't control Harry and Meghan, and Harry and Meghan are influential and liked. They are looking at the pictures of this tour, the video clips of this tour, and they are realizing 10 years of bullying Meghan and trying to destroy this couple, and they have failed. This Australia tour is the cherry on the cake, proof that they have failed. The obsession continues. Let's have a listen to this.
There are plenty of royal secrets to come out, believe me, which they didn't spill. But Diana had her book. Charles had his book with Jonathan Dimbleby.
He didn't slag off the family to high heaven in that, but the whole
Jonathan Dimbleby's books. Charles actually said how cold his parents had been.
In one page. So Harry's whole book was called Spare, about how dreadful his life had been up until that point.
Have you read it?
Yes. Oh my God, have I read it? I've read it again and again.
It's a brilliant book.
It's a book, though, that the whole raison d'etre of that, but the whole reason it was written was to say how dreadful things had done, and to list the reasons why his life was terrible, even from having the smallest room in Sandringham, from he's reframed things that happened between him and his brother. There was
You reframed. Was he not allowed to tell his life story and his truth? This is
his truth, not the truth.
This is somebody who was thrown under the bus by his own family to the press. Because Camilla, she appeared on the scene, and then Diana died, and then that was going to be disaster for Camilla. And she needed to be presented to the public in a proper light. So it took Mark Bolland, the PR, years and years to get her into a state where the public would accept her. And in doing so, they did deals with the press, and Harry was thrown under the bus. So they gave him stories about Harry when he was a young teenager and drugs. And it was all to set Camilla in power.
Well, again, that is a narrative
not
from
a narrative,
them,
it's the
firstly.
truth.
But secondly, I'm afraid to say that if they were to come here, they could not be trusted not to want to sell things for commercial gain going forward, which they have done many times before. And unfortunately, I think that would ultimately become more damaging for the royal family. And also, we're not that far off George and the others.
Don't want them to come back.
Because we've got a call from Jim from Greater Manchester. Jim, would you welcome Harry and Meghan back to the UK?
Good morning. No, unfortunately, I wouldn't. And I have to say I agree with the speaker who just said that, I think...
I mean, it's mighty confident of Jim here to think that his opinion even matters. It's mighty confident of you, Jim.
No, I think their coming back could potentially do more harm than good, especially at a time when I think we all agree that the monarchy is badly in need of rehabilitation. I'm not going to refer to events of the past few months because that's obviously well known. But I think for me, the problem is that the mixed messages this couple send. I mean, they went to America, again, in a blaze of publicity.
He says the events of the last few months. I don't know if he's referring to Andrew, but it's interesting that he doesn't even explicitly state Andrew's name or Fergie's name or the cover-ups that the royal family have engaged in. He says the royal family is in need of rehabilitation, but he doesn't even expand on any of that, but he's throwing stones at Harry and Meghan. The derangement of these people.
The publicity, supposedly to lead a private life and to avoid all the media spotlight. And as far as I'm aware, they've been nothing but courting publicity ever since. We've had the Netflix thing, we've had Meghan sort of sensationalising all these disclosures. And I do think that if they came back to England, as the gentleman said, the danger is that there'd be more sort of disclosures and revelations to the press. And I think it just could do more harm than good, when basically we need to let the royal family alone and let them sort their own house out, which it badly does need sorting out.
Can I ask you said Meghan sensationalising these disclosures. What do you mean by that? What disclosures?
Obviously we've had the interview with Oprah and the thing about the comment about the baby and what
yes,
colour would he be.
We've
had Meghan being interviewed and sort of taking the mickey out of the Queen about how she was, forced to curtsy, and I think we've all seen that clip, and Harry looked decidedly uncomfortable, honestly, and embarrassed.
Jim, I have to say, Meghan wasn't taking the mickey out of the Queen. She was taking the mickey out of herself, saying she'd have to. That's a 2-second thing, and this seems to be such a tragedy that this whole enmity and towards Meghan in particular has kind of catastrophized into this woman being vilified.
I'll tell you why, because it's a double standard.
I wonder whether you can answer this question, because Jim articulates how a lot of people feel at home, and similarly to yourself probably, but Harry wrote the book. Harry is the son, Harry is the brother, Harry is the spare, Harry is the royal. Meghan just married him and did one interview.
You can even hear the interviewers there very uncomfortable. Yeah, the same people who sit there day in and day out and chat nonsense about Meghan, even they're uncomfortable by what he's saying, because they can hear and they can pick up from what he is saying, from the fact that this is a zombie drone. This is a zombie drone who has just eaten up everything that has been fed to him by the tabloids. And that's what's making them uncomfortable. These trolls that read these tabloids and listen to these morning shows and see what they want to see. Like that lady pushed back and said, Meghan was making fun of herself, right? And then this idiot talking about what was said in the Oprah interview, and still talking about the Oprah interview, by the way, was overblown. somebody talking about their lived experience was overblown. This is what we're dealing with, folks. This is what we're dealing with. But these are the people who eat the propaganda, don't want better for themselves, defend the royal family, and then take an issue with Harry and Meghan. This is why I say, rather controversially sometimes, I think some people genuinely, they like their poverty and their despair. Because there's no way you can fall for this level of propaganda so easily. You must like your poverty and despair. I can't think of any other explanation. Exactly. Harping on about Harry and Meghan speaking out 4 years ago while completely ignoring Peter Andrew and William's connections to Epstein. Unreal. Absolutely nuts. Yeah, I'm so sure that guy probably voted for Brexit. He probably voted for Brexit, and he was one of these people within 5 minutes of the election results being published, people were Googling, what's the EU? What does Brexit mean? Have we left Europe? Oh my goodness. Have we left Europe? You can't make it up. You can't make it up. Because these fools are real. Joan Garcia, thank you so much. You said, I love this quote from famous American actress Mother, who said, they didn't make you, so don't let them break you. Meghan lives that wisdom. Indeed. Indeed. They didn't make her. The royal family didn't make her. She was already something before. If anything, she made them more relevant. So she was not going to let them break her. Sandri said, I don't think most of them actually believe what they're spewing. Rahini said, a TikToker with 5,000 followers who dance with their cat have more influence than the future king and queen. Indeed, they do. You seen that lady who was going viral because she pole dances with her cat? The cat said, oh, I've got bills too, so let me help with the bills. April May, you said that's what they're so bitter about. They have to see their failure shining right before their eyes. Indeed, their failure to bring Harry and Meghan down, shining right before their eyes. All right, next thing. Harry and Meghan also went on a 2-hour walk. It was this. It's called the Scar Tree Walk in Melbourne. So the Scar Tree Walk is a 2-hour walk sponsored by Corrie Heritage Trust. It also functions as an art walk because it's a guided tour where people get to stop and talk about the public Aboriginal art installations. That's really cool. I don't even think I have those pictures. I'm so sorry, guys. There was so many different pictures floating around. But okay, so these pictures are actually from the walk. But I'm sorry I don't even have pictures of the artwork. And this is what Meghan looks like in the morning with barely any makeup. Cha. I love that they just bring attention to things that we don't even know about. Like, I'll actually be looking into this. She's also wearing, again, I'm sorry you can't see in the picture, but she's wearing Mama shirt, which is from the Alliance of Mums, which is the t-shirt that her friend Kelly McKee Zajfen, her charity, sells those t-shirts. So this event was obviously honoring Aboriginal culture. Amazing. So it's the first People's Arts and Cultural Organisation. and the tall ends are the scar trees, which are a group of trees that had their bark removed by Aboriginal peoples for various purposes, including crafting items like canoes and shields. During their outing, the couple was spotted by numerous locals for selfies, with one woman holding her baby and telling Harry and Meghan, "Welcome to Australia." I believe this walk was not announced just for security reasons, and the people who actually got to see them got very lucky. Very, very lucky. Good for them, and what a amazing initiative to bring attention to. And lucky those people who got to see them. And I can't believe it's only Thursday, guys. We've still got tomorrow and Meghan making her appearance on Saturday. That's the grand finale. So there's still a lot. Oh, and guess who's disappeared into the abyss, into the dark hole of nothingness, and nobody cares. Sophie Chandauka and her stupid minions really thought they were doing something with that court case, huh? 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 I just saw an article that said the Sussex's Australia tour is going so well, the royals need an emotional support pole. Royal biographers crashing up and crashing out, live radio shows, royal reporters screaming and carrying on. And you know, while they're all screaming and yelling about Harry and Meghan, they're not even covering the other royals. I don't even know what the other royals are meant to be doing. Apparently, Kate's coming out for 2 appearances on Saturday. Oh yeah, they had to get her out of the house. Because Meghan with her grand finale, you know, the wellness retreat thing, that's going to be all the talk of the town. I mean, the tabloids are $1 billion hate industry. They've had more than a month of lead time. And here they are, in a panic, in a mess. Everything falling apart for them in less than a day. It's spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. And now they brought out the emotional support polls by YouGov. Isn't Camilla's nephew linked to YouGov? Apparently 64% of Britons are showing support for the monarchy. Yeah, and so what? And so what? Why is that important? And why is it important right now? While Harry and Meghan are on tour in Australia. I mean, you can do all the polling you want. We're seeing the crowds in Australia and we're seeing the crowds in the UK for the other royals. My goodness. Right, let's have a listen to, because somebody asked about it and we're going to have a good laugh. We're going to have a good laugh at these crazy people. Rob Jobson. Rob Jobson was having a whole meltdown, honey. I've got a 3-part meltdown for you. Let's get ready to laugh. Let me read some of your comments first. Heather, you said the media has to dream of the Sussexes coming back just to be able to have a conversation about them. Indeed. And mind you, if these are the crowds in Australia, what do you think the crowds are going to look like in Birmingham? Even if Harry comes alone, there's still going to be big crowds. Now, let's see if we get the surprise of all surprises and Meghan comes too. And let's say we get a bigger cherry on the top and maybe the kids come too. Let's say that security was provided and the kids came too. Lord. We'll have an earthquake. Yeah, they thought that they could run over Meghan like they did with Kate. But the thing is, the Hollywood background that they make fun of, that Meghan has, that's actually what prepared her. Honey, if you can survive the snakes of Hollywood, she was more than prepared to handle the snakes in the palace, honey. Anyway, so Rob Jobson went on a podcast. Now, I haven't listened to the whole thing, so we can all have a laugh together. This is part one. It's in 3 parts.
This to happen. If they're private citizens, why are we paying for
Well,
it?
they say they have paid for their own security, actually, don't
Well, they
they?
haven't. They paid for the 17 bouncers, Rachel. They haven't paid for all the backup and the people that drive in the blue. That's nonsense. That is just nonsense.
But as you yourself said, like crowds of people are going out to see them. The papers are loving
Oh,
it.
journalists,
The
I love it,
audiences-
Rachel.
Yeah,
Journalists, I love it.
So, given that we're living in a time where a lot of people feel the royal family is an anachronism, when you've got 2 young people like this who seem to be able to engage quite effectively with a younger audience, doesn't that
Are they young? Are they 40?
energise?
Is that young now? Is it? I don't know.
Well, but doesn't that energise interest in the royal family, even if they are sort of royal adjacent these days?
Yeah, but so does the crown, doesn't it? It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's accurate. It doesn't mean it's what the monarchy is not a show. It's not a piece of showbiz. We're part of a constitutional monarchy.
Did he just say the monarchy is not a show? Did he just say that the monarchy is not a show? Are you for real? Are you for real? The Queen herself said you had to be seen to be believed. Pomp and pageantry, but the monarchy isn't a show? The whole coronation you had and the cost of living crisis, but the monarchy isn't a show? You had Prince Andrew front and centre, but the monarchy isn't a show?
Parliamentary democracy, it has a role, and what our king is doing, a king who's living with cancer, is going to Washington, and we had a big briefing on it yesterday, and the whole thing has been blown out of order by pictures of Harry and Meghan. That's a far more important thing that's going on in Washington than what those two...
The king isn't there yet.
By the local paper.
He's not.
I mean, if the interest for Charles was there, well, then people would be paying attention to Charles, would they not? And I don't even understand why he's bigging up that trip anyway. If anything, Harry and Meghan are doing a Charles a favour by taking attention away from that trip that shouldn't even be happening. Why is he behaving like the Charles's trip to Trump is even a good thing? Oh, they're distracting and it's all blowing up. Like, excuse me? Charles shouldn't even be in Washington anyway. Like, what is he even talking about? I don't even think this man knows what he's talking about. It's like he just wants to have a rant because he wasn't invited to Australia.
He's not there yet, so let's see what the coverage will be like.
But Rachel, the announcement was yesterday. The proper decent thing was yesterday. That we had all the briefing that's been blown out the water. So, look, yeah, if you just want showbiz, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
I mean, the charities who they're visiting, they're around men's mental health, children's hospital, services for veterans. They will be delighted to have the kind of exposure that these 2 bring, won't they?
And so they should, and there's good that comes out of it, because those kids in the cancer hospital, made their day, and that's fantastic. But I'd just say that, the only thing I would say is, yes, what do you want your monarchy to be? I think that's what it is. And really, they decided they were being... and in some cases, they probably were having difficulty with the media, but they wanted to be private citizens. It now seems they want to be back doing royal tours. It's almost like, well, it's not quite the same parallel, but it's a bit like Edward VIII when he gave up the throne and then he was doing a tour in Nazi Germany. You can't actually be back for this to happen.
Excuse me? Excuse me. Did you hear what he said at the end there? He compared this to a tour of NAZI Germany. These people are out of their damn minds.
Health, children's hospital, services for veterans. They will be delighted to have the kind of exposure that these 2 bring, won't they?
And so they should, and there's good that comes out of it, because those kids in the cancer hospital, made their day, and that's fantastic. But I'd just say that, the only thing I would say is, yes, what do you want your monarchy to be? I think that's what it is. And really, they decided they were being... and in some cases, they probably were having difficulty with the media, but they wanted to be private citizens. It now seems they want to be back doing royal tours. It's almost like, well, it's not quite the same parallel, but it's a bit like Edward VIII when he gave up the throne and he was doing a tour in Nazi Germany. You can't actually be both. And that's what the Queen said.
Australia is not Nazi Germany.
No, I never said it was. That's a perversion of what I'm saying. What I'm saying quite clearly is you cannot be half in and half out.
I don't think that Robert Jobson knows. I don't think Robert Jobson knows what he's saying. He is he is having one giant belligerent tantrum. This is the tantrum of a rota rat who has completely... The thing is, you got to understand that the way that the royal family is losing their position, these reporters are also losing their position. The way that the royals, the leftover royals, are losing their importance, situations like the BBC gutting their entire team, people like Jobson are also going to lose their importance. To be honest, I think they've already lost them. They've already lost it. And that's why he's out here just yelling like a drunken fool. But you can't have this and you can't do that and you can't. And the Queen said, honey, first of all, the Queen's dead. She'd been dead for a while. You can release all of the emotional support polls you want. The feet on the ground in Australia is showing who is popular versus the lack of feet on the ground in the UK. It's almost as if, especially when he talks about the Queen, like he's hanging on to some like some imaginary force. Oh, sorry, not force. That's not the right word. Imaginary idea. You can't do this. You can't. Says who? And who are you, by the way, to dictate anything? Can't do this and you can't do... Says who? Says who?
I wasn't the only one who said that. Late Majesty the Queen said
okay. That. I mean, I think there are a lot of people who just don't really care, and either they'll pay attention or they won't.
More worrying for the king, though,
well,
isn't it? It's more worrying for the monarchy.
Neil in London says this: why is there so much fuss about Harry when he's so much better than some of the rest of the family? Another one here.
Why did he read Walter Badger? He'll find out what the constitutional monarchy is.
Okay, Jackie in London says, Harry and Meghan are private citizens. They don't cost the British taxpayer anything. Why should it matter to us if organisations across the world want to invite them to visit and speak at events?
Because it's a Commonwealth realm.
Let me read what else Jackie says. Hang on.
That's why I'm answering the question.
Hang on, Rob. Jackie also says, I suspect the problem for royal commentators, I think that might be you, is that current...
I'm not royal, I'm a royal author.
Wait, so he says the king is the king of Australia. And so what? And so what? He's also the king of several other places that he doesn't even visit.
Best thing, number one, Sunday Times, belly roll. No, the reason it's
let me finish that point, Rob.
Well, let me finish the point of what I'm saying. The Commonwealth, it's not just another country, it's a Commonwealth realm where his father is the king.
I understand.
That's the point.
Jackie says...
I know you understand, but do anyone else understand?
Jackie says, I suspect the problem...
Do you know, he's sitting there and he's screaming and yelling and talking about how Charles is the king, but what does that even mean in 2026? He can't even back up what he's saying with any meaning. What does that even mean? So Charles is the king and they're in Australia, and
for royal commentators / authors is that current royal family members don't attract much interest internationally. They don't connect with the younger audience or attract as much press attention. So that's it.
I just think that you're trying to turn the royal family into
mental health, children's hospital services for veterans. So that's it.
I just think that you're trying to turn the royal family into showbiz. It's not about attention. It's about them being part of our political system. And they are constitutional monarchy, parliamentary democracy. That's the point. And the BBC, I know, Rachel, you understand it, but does all your listeners, I don't think they do.
Well, I actually give them a lot more credit than you do.
I mean, he just mentioned the BBC. The BBC just gutted its royal reporting team.
I think some of those questions were utterly ridiculous. It's a Commonwealth realm. The king, the taxpayers of Australia are paying
for
it.
Show some respect to the Five Live audience, please. Robert Jobson.
I've had enough time. Anyway, have a nice day.
You too.
Do a bit of reading.
And enjoy the ratings when they come in. Nice to talk to you. Royal Editor of Australia's breakfast programme, Sunrise on Channel 7.
I mean, I mean, you've just never heard anything so ridiculous. You have just truly never heard anything so ridiculous. He did not make sense once. He could not back up anything that he was saying. He could not give meaning to anything that he was saying. He was just screaming and yelling like a drunken fool. And you know what? He's going to scream and yell his way into oblivion, because he's about to come as irrelevant as the royal family is becoming. You know, once upon a time, the Rob Jobsons of the world would have been given a front and center seat to these types of royal tours. And he knows the money that he's losing out, the access that he's losing out, they all know. They're all absolutely stinking furious. There's quite a few reporters on the ground who are the reporters on the ground, the Australian reporters on the ground, by the way, they're wonderful. They've been absolutely wonderful. Reporting fairly, being very polite. Really just not causing any issues. But the UK media, let me play just, I've got one more clip. Let me play just this one more clip where this gentleman is talking about the royals having a deficit.
Associations, and they're not at Ascot, and they're not at memorial services, and they're just not seen with the royal family at all, the less bankable they are. As soon as they rev it up a bit and they kind of remind everybody that they were royal, they are royal, or whatever it is they think they are, then they earn a few more shillings doing whatever.
I'm not 100% sure that that's the case, Vanessa. I think that the royal family at the moment is suffering from a dearth of charisma. And I absolutely do, yeah. And I think that globally, polls in the UK are very different to polls globally. Globally, Harry and Meghan are the most popular royals we have globally. And they're not part of the firm. And I think that actually really impacts the firm.
But let me just ask Daisy this. Isn't it true that their popularity in the US has fallen quite dramatically? They were very popular. Yeah. And in the US, they're not as popular as they were.
And William and Catherine are miles ahead of them in the States.
Interesting. So I'm interested that you say you feel that the royal family lacks charisma or lacks star.
That was a straight up lie. That was a straight up lie. I don't even know how she came up with that straight up lie. I mean, we all remember those pictures, William standing in the river collecting clams or something. The last time they came to the US, was that not for one of the Earthshot things? I don't remember large crowds then.
Yeah, I think
You don't think William and Kate provide that?
I think that they do, to a point. I mean, you spoke about the late Queen. I mean, I remember the late Queen calling them Duke and Duchess Doolittle. I think that there is more that they can do. There was a time when...
That is absolutely rubbish. I'm sorry, but when did Harry and Meghan leave? When did Harry... We're in 2026. They left in what, 2020? Just before that? And they've been bankable. A whole Netflix deal and Spotify deal bankable. So what is she even talking about? The only time they've been seen with the royals since was for the Jubilee, the Jubilee, and the Queen's funeral. And then Harry came back for the coronation. So what is she talking about?
Time when the Queen was alive, when it felt as though the royal family was much more present, much more active, much more, not accessible, certainly, but there would always seem to be things that, with the exception of Princess Anne.
Never stops working.
Never stops working. It feels as though, and of course the King has not been well, but it feels as though that kind of ethic is missing from the generation after them.
I feel like we're just missing the Queen.
Yeah.
You know, when you put...
I mean, the thing is that the work ethic was never actually there because they don't work. They're just being seen less. But they sold you them showing up and smiling and waving and taking pictures and being seen was work.
Like that's royal associations, and they're not at Ascot, and they're not at memorial services, and they're just.
Anywho, I'm going to read some of your comments out and then I've got Lightside to come up. Rahini, if you're still in the chat, let me know. I'd love to have you up as well. Hey, Peachy Rose, yes, these people are incredibly dumb and stupid. Oh, guys. So you all know that I'm in Bali at the moment. There's a massive problem with trash and trash collection. So a lot of locals are burning their rubbish. And I can actually smell it in my room. Like I've been smelling something really, really weird. And now it's actually starting to burn my eyes a little bit. And it's because they're not doing the trash collection. It's like the services are just so overwhelmed here. Oh, anyway, if you hear me just a little bit like coughing or something, that's why. The good thing is I'm actually moving in a couple of weeks, so I'll be in like another area where there's not so much. I don't think there's so much burning in the area where I'm moving. Wendy, you said I'm surprised Dull and Boring, but Will and Kitty didn't pop up to do royal duties. Well, apparently I think Kate's doing 2 events on Saturday. Joseph, you said, when will they realize his family is not perfect and not worth crucifying Harry and Meghan to maintain an appearance of perfection? Exactly. It's like they're so personally offended for the Andrew and Epstein protecting royal family. And they have to defend the Andrew and Epstein protecting royal family. Like, it's just so weird to me. Like, if you and me, normal people, right? If I knew that there was a group of people that were harboring an S-offender, I wouldn't be out on the streets defending them for my life. But just because it's the royals, like, you out here fighting for them like they're paying your bills when you're paying theirs. And anyway, got Rahini and Lightside here. So, Lightside, I'll let you on first. Lightside, you there?
Oh. Can you hear me at all or no?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Let me just say thank you to Lottie for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lottie.
I am in a different location, so I haven't logged in this route in a long time. But hi everyone. Hi Anne. Hope everyone's doing well. I can't work this morning because of everything that is coming out. I am over here trying to work and I'm listening to the audio. I apologize. I missed like the first 40 minutes. I'm so pissed, but I'm going to go back and watch it. But I came in on the audio of Jobson, aka Drobo. Yeah. And I am stifling my laugh in my office. I'm like cracking up almost on the floor. Like, you gotta understand, like, I don't, like, we don't pay attention. We don't pay any attention to these reporters. We only pay attention to them if we're in defense of Harry and Meghan. That's the only time we even care that they even exist. We don't watch their interviews. We don't give them any credence. We don't support any of their articles, none of their books. And every time I've seen this one in particular in the past, this is the round robust one, right? I think I remember him. He has been one of the more tempered individuals in all of his interviews. Okay, I have never seen him pop off like this and lose it. He got caught with his pants down. He got caught without any kind of restraint. You could feel the anger and frustration and just tantrum energy coming through the screen when I was listening to it. He is pissed off. One, because I don't think he got an invite or notification that Harry and Meghan were going to show up when they did. Because I remember when I came in, he made mention that, oh, they, it was short notice or something like that. We didn't even know until like hours before, the day before. And I'm like, well, you weren't supposed to know. I mean, that's part of the whole thing.
Yeah, because there's parts of the tour where they haven't like announced certain appearances or where they're gonna be, so they're having to like run around and guess.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like they weren't supposed to know. Like, look, I think Harry and Meghan's team know the game at this point. Like we got to keep our eyes out for these particular people, and he's one of the ones that's probably on the list. Let's be real. So he wasn't gonna get the information, but you know what? I love the interviewer. Can I just give props to the interviewer because she was playing devil's advocate in that interview. I can see her enjoying it, like the way she was asking the questions, the little commentary that she had in between the statements while Jobson was trying to rebuff whatever the heck she was saying. He was making absolutely no sense because I don't know if you guys caught this, but he made mention like something like this is not how the monarchy goes or this is not how it works. And I'm like, well, I thought you guys didn't consider them royals anymore. What does it even matter if they're doing it that way or not? Right? Like, so what are you doing? Do you want them to be royals or do you not want them to be royals? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like he had no base whatsoever, and it was.
It's not about them being royals. It's about them being convenient and accessible to them.
That part, because he mentioned, they want the privacy and everything, but at the same time, like if you want them, if you're claiming that they want privacy, why are you so intent on finding out information about them all the time? If they're private, you're not going to get any information, right? That's what you're pitching. So why not stand behind that? But like I thoroughly enjoyed the questions, and the interviewer was on her game. And she knew exactly how to come back and ask the questions and follow up. And I think that interview was not supposed to have ended when it did. I think he just got utterly frustrated with her and knew that he completely had lost the argument and ran off. He skittered away because he was kind of like, I'm done now. I'm done answering questions. I'm going to leave. Look. Sorry. Dude, look, you gotta understand, these are journalists. I mean, I hate to give them that credit, but these are journalists. They're supposed to know how to act under circumstances like this. And he just did not have it together. So this is going down in the books. I'm gonna go back and listen to this a couple times because that was too funny. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let Rahini chime in, and then I'm actually gonna come back to you, Lightside. Rahini, there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you loud and clear.
I know it's a bit of TMI, but I wrote to the chat that I laughed so hard that I farted. I swear, like it's oh my god! I snorted, I farted, and I had to go and pee. Like, oh my god! William and Kate is miles ahead of who? And Jobson, it now hit me what you have been saying that the BBC have gutted their royal press. Jobson is fighting for his job. He's about to be rubber jobless. He's terrified. You have to, like, I almost feel sorry for him. I really do, because it's hard, because the man might have a couple of kids in private school. He might have a mistress somewhere in France. Like, I mean, he need the money. He need the money. And if you don't have access as a media personality, you're not getting it, and they are realizing that the other royals not getting the clicks, because logically, if you dislike somebody so much over somebody else, you would give that other person the support, right? See, I guess I can use it as an example. I think it was in 2016, the whole Nicki Minaj versus Cardi B kind of scuffle they had, and both of their fan bases went at each other and went at them, but they showed their support by actually supporting the person that they like. Cardi sales went up, Nicki sales went up. This is kind of what they do. But the Rangers, their hate for Meghan is so powerful that they have forgotten to support the
The
Royals.
other
Like,
royals,
this,
yes,
this is
exactly.
what you have to do. Listen, the Rangers, because we know you're here. We know you're here. If you truly want to do anything, support the rest of the Royals. Show up when they do stuff. But we know you're not going to, because there is nothing there. There is nothing there for you to see. And this is the problem that the royal family have. Even before Meghan, listen to me, this is what you need to look at and take it from a royalist like myself, right? Even before Meghan got there, Harry did the work that endeared him to the people. Do you understand? There was a connection between the people and Harry. What I think what it is called, it's a parasocial relationship that was formed. That is what Princess Diana was trying to tell them, that she was trying to give them. The Queen got it because she was there for so long. The symbol of her was enough to do that. But the rest of them
Yeah.
needed to do that. And the sad thing is, when he married Kate, the fact that Kate was a commoner, let me tell you, a commoner meant that they had that opportunity to endear themselves with the people. But you know what they did?
They throw it away.
Absolutely nothing. And they
Yeah,
have
and I
done
think
nothing of worth since.
yeah, and
Nothing.
let me just say you've made such a good point, Rohini, because I think for those of you who weren't maybe paying attention to the royal family, like just after Kate and William got married, and like what Rohini was saying about Kate being a commoner, there was this amazing time frame of grace that the public gave the royal family in that moment. And somehow it's just the laziness, the incompetence, they just let it slip through their fingers. It's actually quite remarkable when you look back at it.
Yeah, it was ridiculous because it was right there, and even Kate, she pushed out a few kids in rapid succession. You had the people, and you did nothing, and worse yet, you watch the world change to valuing those parasocial relationships, to valuing the connections that people have with influencers and celebrities coming on social media and showing us more of themselves and gaining in popularity simply because they were relatable, right? You saw that happen and still did nothing. And then here you have a woman who understand that because she come from a world where that was important, right? And she brought that with kindness, with love to people. And what did you do? You actively chased her away. Why? Because it boils down to what you were saying about people wanting to stay poor and wanting to stay. It is the whole caste system of um the royals and the aristocracy and the hierarchy. Oh God, what's the name for it? Oh oh gosh, my name, the class system in England that you either born into this or you are not. So there's no room for you to move up or down or anywhere. And worse yet, that insignificant thing, which is your place in birth, right, is
Yeah.
so powerful that nothing around it affects it. Right. And because you want to do that, so you've allowed them to think that, okay, all they have to do is to be a part of it there. And then Megan was supposed to come in and then step into her place in line and not move. But that is not who she is. That's not who she is. When you come from a place like the United States that say, listen, you have to prove that you are worthy. You have to prove yourself before you get that reference, right? She did the work. She did the work. She brought that, dare I say, old fashioned American work ethic, and she
Yeah.
actually worked. That was it. It's not rocket science. It's not that she's some ethereal being from another world. She simply does the work. And Prince Harry learned that from his mother. He learned that from his mother, and he was doing that. So he was shining a brighter than them before her. And from the minute she got there, they couldn't touch them. And instead of being smart enough to ride the coattails, because that's what I like, the entire PR team suck. Right? They need to fire
Yeah.
all of y'all because Megan is the moment, and you missed that opportunity. And not only did you miss it, you deliberately tried to destroy it, and you were so blatant in that everybody saw it. Right? When they talk about, oh, they didn't left, they were chased away. They ran for
Yeah.
their life. They were basically escaping, right? They were basically
Yes.
escaping, and what were they running from? They were running from your crazy. And the British media. I wonder if there's somebody to say to them, you know what? If you actually did your job as journalist and was fair and honest, you would probably get access. Because there are
Exactly.
press there, right? There are press there. And what's the difference? Is it that they're giving glowing reviews? No, they are being honest. They are telling the truth, which is what a journalist is supposed to do.
Yes. But they didn't want to be that. They wanted to um lick the feet of the other royals. They wanted to jump on the hate campaign. They wanted the easy money of the hate campaign, and they chose to, go a very different way. Thank you so much, both Lightside and Rahini, for your input. I do want to ask you about the whole Sophie Chanduka thing before you do go. But just to wrap up with, the first 3 days of the Australia tour, it's been fantastic. I mean, there's a couple of things that I haven't even mentioned, just because, do forgive me, there's so many, they've done so many things, and so many photos circulating that it's been a bit difficult to catch up. But Meghan also did speak today about rising above bullying and trolling, where she talked about, she reflected on her own experience of being bullied and heavily trolled for the last 10 years. And she, told the young people there, my wish for you is that you continue to be who you are, to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness, and to allow humor to lighten the burden of your tender heart. They also visited the youth mental health and wellbeing program at a university, and they discussed different therapies that empower young people to speak openly about mental health. So yeah, it's been just a lovely few days where they've really touched upon the causes that mean the most to them, and highlighting different places. Meghan, she also served lunch at the Macaulay Community Service for Women, women experiencing homelessness and family violence, and she served food there. So again, highlighting these organizations. And I'm pretty sure they'll be, not just being highlighted, but also being supported by Archewell as well. That seems to be the trend of Harry and Meghan. So I will try and get more pictures up tomorrow, more audio up tomorrow. I'm sorry I can't actually play more videos, but just because of the copyright police. But if you go to, my Instagram, go on Twitter, like you'll see all of the videos. And I'll be doing some updated stuff on TikTok as well. I haven't gotten around to doing TikTok content, so I'll update that tomorrow. Right, before we go, Lightside and Rahini, your thoughts on the whole Sophie Chanduka situation and their stupid attempt to try and, derail this wonderful tour, and just how pathetic it is. And do you believe that it is indeed William now backing all of this? Because we've now been told by Centre Parley this is being funded, by external, somebody external.
Yeah.
Any one of you?
Yes. First, really quickly, I'm so happy Meghan made that statement about her bullying and standing in that. I know she's been really quiet about it. Obviously, she knew it was happening before, but so proud of her because she's in her empowerment era. That's what she's in. Regarding Sophie Sanduka and the backing, I more and more each day, I'm thinking that it's William. I remember a couple of squatties in the chat way back when this came out, had said, "This smells like William. This smells like William." And it's for me, like I try to keep a level head. And I know we do in the chat, like we troll people who troll them and we call them out, but we are very much crazy thinkers. We're very level-headed and justified in what we're saying about Harry and Meghan and the responses from the public and people who hate them. And I think people have stated from the beginning, this smells like William. It smells like William and his people. More and more, I don't think it's Charles or Camilla meddling in anything. They have no reason at this point to be dipping their toes into any of this. And the individuals that would gain the most from Harry and Meghan having some kind of negative stain over whatever publicity event that they may have would be William. We really would be William because right now he needs to be able to step into a position of looking like a king and somebody with authority and someone who's capable. We know that he is not ready on any of those fronts. And he's always had an issue with his younger brother just naturally having that spotlight gravitate towards him. You add Meghan in the mix and them having a double whammy from both of them, they're unstoppable, right? And you guys have seen the crowds. Like I'm still shocked that I'm still catching up. With like all the photos and everything. But I am in shock at how many people came out and have been in support and been genuine. If you look on the faces of the kids and the adults and the people that are in any of those venues in those photos, they're genuinely really happy to see them. You can't fake that. That is not something that's staged. And to have that such a natural, archaic response to these two individuals, that's power and pull that cannot be bought in anywhere, and it has to be scaring them. So regarding Sophie Chanduka's like little stint and whoever is behind her, I do think the intent and the timing for Harry and Meghan's trip to Australia, that was timed too well. And I think that it was definitely, in fact, trying to put a stain and a wedge in their public appearance, right? And their venues and whatever they had planned. That's the only thing they can do. Right, it's to have a distraction that pulls away from whatever good and notoriety they may be gaining from doing that. And I gotta be honest with you, I completely forgot about that. I forgot about them because I was so happy to see both of them in public. I was so happy to see the response. I like seeing happy people. I do. I like seeing happy people. I like that they're still pushing ahead and that the reception that they're getting is so representative of a true king and queen, and it makes my heart full just to be able to see that. And I didn't even remember any of that negative stuff that they try to throw in the picture because that's second and tertiary at this point. Anything that is going on from the time they got to Australia to whenever they leave is gonna overpower any of that so much that I don't even think people even are thinking about that in Australia. And I don't expect that any
Yes.
of the press are gonna ask them, hey, what can you provide a response about your charity situation? I don't expect any of that to happen because that's not
Yeah,
what
yeah,
they're there for. Yeah.
yeah. 100%. 100%. Thank you so much for that, Rahini.
Hi, so Lightside has officially put on her tinfoil hat and joined us. I am so happy.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Madhouse Lightside. I hope your tinfoil hat is designer. I really do. But listen, listen, like we know it's William. We know because he has always been the imagery of him is always as somebody throwing a temper tantrum. It has always been that. And this is how he has always acted towards his brother. Even when you look at interviews with the two of them, he constantly would poke jabs at his brother. They're doing something together. It's about the charity or whatever cause they're dealing with. William will find a way to jab his brother. That is what he does, and he's been doing that forever. And the fact that outside of the royal apparatus, right, his brother is so successful. Yeah, I could see him deciding, I want to destroy this. I think Sophie probably is, well, she's part opportunist, but she probably really thinks that she's going to now get that royal money because it's a lot. It's a lot. And but she forgets that most of the royal charities are shutting down because of lack of funding. So and also lack of impact. So I mean, she could do what she want to do. This is just noise, and it's sad that they think that it would have worked, that it would have derailed, but they forget that Meghan and Harry are products of light. And no matter what you
Yes.
do, light will always win. That's just how it works. So I'm not
Yeah.
very surprised at all. But when it comes to Meghan making that statement about being trolled, I actually teared up a bit. It made me sad because I the fact that Meghan was not on social media, and Harry said, he didn't read it. He tried not to read the tabloids. I kind of felt that once they left, they kind of insulated themselves from the madness. So to know that she was very much aware of how awful and evil the online the Rangers really are, it's upsetting to me. It's sad that
Yeah.
she have to have a thick skin. Like she shouldn't have to. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
made me sad. I'm happy that she does and she's able to endure and she's that inspiration. But it's sad that she knows. Like in my mind, I created a fairy tale where she didn't know. I used to say it. I used to say, who are they screaming at? Megan is not online to hear you. Who are you screaming at? But now I realize, yeah, she kind
Yeah.
of heard it, which is it's sad to me that she knows that she was the most trolled woman online,
Yeah.
and their hate is so powerful that they don't even support who they claim to want to support. It made me a bit
Yeah.
sad, and you know. But anyway, you guys, it's the 1 year anniversary of Squatty Hooks, and you get 2 for 1. Click the link. I'm just saying that. Shameless
Yeah.
plug. I'm sorry.
No worries. No. Any time, Rahini. And yeah, you're so right. And even if Megan doesn't know, y- when there is so much noise and so much energy around you, you're gonna sense it anyway. Like I think it would be very difficult for her to navigate the world without sensing it, you know. But she seems to have nonetheless risen above it. They were out here trying to mess with the chosen one, and it hasn't worked.
Well, she said,
Let me say thank you
what
to Cat
didn't you
Hut.
try to do to
Oh,
bury me? But you forgot I was a
yeah,
seed.
seed. That exactly. That exactly. Can't but a seed will always flourish. Thanks so much to Cat Harlem. You said Jobson's response has given me the best laugh these last 2 days. Go Harry and Meghan question. I thought had a link to her clothing on her Instagram page. Does anybody remember? Okay. If you go to what's the name of the website? Let me have a look. I'm pretty sure if you just go to what is it now?
One off, right? I think that's
Yeah,
through
one
one
off. Yeah, well, I think I've got the link here actually. Yeah, if you just go to one off and search for Meghan's name, I'm sure it will just come up. Yeah, it's oneoff.world/Meghan. And then you can find all of the looks there. Very clever. Thank you, Lightside. Also, who else did I need to thank? And thank you, Kat Harlem, for that very generous super chat. Update on my candle line coming, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm actually waiting for the boxes because I got updated box packaging, but it's just taking a very long time for some reason. But I did get the stickers yesterday. I'm just waiting for the boxes, and then I can do a proper update. Simone Black, you said, remember he said Africa belongs. Yeah, Africa belongs to Africa belongs to William, apparently. And another reason why a lot of people are very suspicious that William has something to do with this is because of Ian Rowlandson, who is on the board of trustees with Sophie Chanduka. I mean, they're not even sly. They can't seriously believe that somebody would not have picked up on these things. Anyway, Ian Rowlandson was on the Tusk Trust with William. Tusk Trust is a charity that looks at the protection of elephants. I mean, they really thought that nobody is going to notice these things. We will. They would have gotten away with it if it weren't for us meddling Sussex squad. Or as Dan Wooten would say, Sussex squad. The Sussex squad.
Oh gosh. You gotta like hard S.
Yes, Sussex squad. What is he even doing these days? Like, he's just kind of like melted into oblivion. Anyway, I'm just waiting for the day that they finally arrest him. All right, I think that is all. Thank you so much, Rahini. Thank you so much, Lightside. Thank you, everyone in the comments. You've been having a fantastic old chat in the comment. I'm sorry I couldn't read more, but they were coming in hard and fast today. There was so much to talk about. And there will be more to talk about tomorrow. And obviously the big finale. Big finale on Saturday. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. I actually need to go on Twitter and catch up with some of the squaddies that are, you know, part of the whole wellness retreat, because some people did actually get in. Oh, Harry and Meghan have landed in Sydney, by the way. Yeah, I've just seen a video of them getting off the plane. Oh, a Daily Fail video of them getting off the plane, nonetheless. Hilarious. All right, folks, let's wrap it up. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe button on your way out if you have not, and links in the bio to donate to the channel. All of your donations help loads. Thank you, everyone who donated during the chat. Love you, and we will catch up more tomorrow. Ciao.